preparing for an interview, and we're going to get some thoughts on JaZe and how he's feeling after his second win of a season. Champion of Tempest of the Gods for North America, champion for Wonderland's Dreams in North America, and now there's just so much to talk about here, and I believe we have JaZe on the line. JaZe, are you there?
Hello.
Oh my god, that is just absolutely incredible. How are you feeling off your win against Lest?
I feel like a winner. I don't know, those games went so well except for the one Control Blood triple revelation draw, and I'm just happy that I didn't like Mega Brick 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a concern.
Games. Yeah. We played 3 real games. And yeah. I'm happy for that. Or 4.
4. That's, yeah, because Les did end up taking 1 from you. But I'd like to ask you, about that kind of thinking about breaking and also just kind of worried that you would not draw into your options. What are some of the things that, because you're such a consistent player. In Season 1, you were making it super far into brackets quite commonly, and you also won a bunch of them, and then you won the playoffs, and now you're winning the playoffs here for Season 2. What do you do to mitigate against that? Because consistency, I think, is something very ethereal to a lot of players who are not in that competitive level. How do you mitigate against that?
My part of my playstyle is to make sure that built into every single one of my decks there is a way to win any matchup. For example, that's why Azazel is in my deck, even though I don't think he's a particularly good card. He gives you a chance to win against Aegis, D-Shift, all those like nonsense like combo decks basically that can destroy you without like you being able to interact. Stuff like that. And another thing that I do a lot is I review my VODs. I have people who are always working with me to make sure that I am constantly, training as hard as I should be, making like the right plays every time.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed that. I think, obviously, it wasn't a match that happened today, but there was an insane Control Blood mirror that you had, and I think you made some incredible decisions there in a situation that I doubt a lot of players have played it. Was that something that you had practiced for? Was Control Blood mirrors something that you had done before, or was it just something you had a lot of experience with, so you kind of knew how to navigate that scenario?
I go into every single game asking myself, how do I win? So because Les had Spawn Bloods in his deck that I can't interact with as long as he has evolution points, and I don't have Bahamut, which given the way the match played out, I would never have been able to Bahamut them because I didn't draw them for a long time. So I told myself, I'm going to play this matchup very, very aggressively, draw a lot of cards, not worry about decking out, make sure that I force Les to spend every single evolution point so he can't uninteractively kill me with Spawn into Emeralda. And that's just the way, like, you can tell that like I had a different strategy for Gengar. I let him draw cards first, and then I basically just made him deck out. That's because of the difference of win condition. So like little things like that. Open deck list is the best thing ever for a player like me, because I really like having a strategy to come into the game. I really like knowing what my opponent's outs to win are, stuff like that. I think that's why I do so well here.
Yeah, that certainly helped you in this match in the grand finals here, and you were able to, on the winner's side, just cleanly sweep through everything. What are some of the things, obviously taking first place for the second time now has to be an incredibly exciting situation for you, but what's kind of looking forward, what's next for you? There's a World Grand Prix coming up, Season 3 coming up. How do you see yourself fitting into the competitive landscape here, and how are you feeling about Shadowverse in general?
The funny thing is, going into this set, I actually was not enjoying Shadowverse that much. I'm personally a huge hater of neutral decks. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate neutral decks, but I really hate them. Like to the point where I think both of my opponents built lineups that don't care about, like would not be happy to play against neutral decks. But what is there to look? What's weird is that, like, I know it's like a little late to be suddenly finding myself loving the game again, but I do, and like I realize that this meta is actually just so much fun. I get to play D-Shift on the ladder, and it doesn't suck every time. like this game is so fun. I'm gonna keep playing. Like I'm gonna enjoy my like week off until the next expansion.
Sure.
But the moment the expansion hits, I'm gonna hit those packs and try to build all the silly memes and whatever, and find the best deck, and hopefully continue my successes in season 3. And if I win season 3, I get invited to Rage, right?
Well,
or
if
not,
you
the Grand Prix.
yes, so
right.
there's going to be there's a qualifying tournament, the Contenders Cup, that's going to be coming up in November, and there are going to be more details released about that. Winning that will actually get you in the World Grand Prix, and you're certainly well positioned to do so. And because you are the top 6 of Season 2, you're going to be in Season 3, so you are eligible to participate in that tournament. So definitely look forward to that, and that's going to be in Starforge Legends. There's going to be a very different meta. Talking about that, you were talking about how you were excited about getting into Starforge Legends in the expansion, and obviously you're part of Mana Surge, which is kind of one of the bigger teams in the scene. Is there anybody in particular? I know you talked about preparation and kind of playing against people. Who are the key people of Mana Surge that have kind of helped you along get to where you are, or what do you think has been kind of your best way to kind of work with the community to make sure you're as good as you are?
I mean, everybody on Mana Surge has been incredibly helpful, even if they aren't completely aware of it. I'm not the most active person on our team chat, but what I do is I read everybody's deck list. I try everybody's things out. They don't even know, actually. I didn't tell them until recently.
Who is the one who still does not know? Is there one that you are really relying on, who has no idea that you're so reliant on them? Who's been a key person for you?
Like the person who doesn't know? The person who knows the least how helpful he's been to me is Shugo, because he always builds forest decks, and I love forest. Forest is my favorite class.
Yes! Did you hear that? Oh, Exo is sitting very quietly on the line, and I'm sure ISFI would appreciate that too.
Forest is by far my most practiced class and my favorite. And like, I realize I say this as a person who's brought Forest to NGE exactly once. Ever.
It's okay, I don't blame you.
It's bad. But
that's great.
Yeah, Shugo is the person who doesn't know. I obviously I shout out auto aim like pretty much anytime I win anything, because he's the one most responsible for me winning anything at all. He built all my deck lists for season 1 basically.
Wow.
Yeah, and for season 2 he built a significant chunk of my decks. Like the first week of NGE round robin, I just stole his deck list from a tournament from the day before, and he was like, "Wait, you just copied these card for card?" I was like, "Yeah, I trust you."
That's the way to do it.
I never played the decks before. It ended up costing me a match. I kind of misplayed, and it was pretty embarrassing. But you know, the decks are great, and he is responsible for so much of my success. He tests with me. He tells me what I'm doing wrong. Like even the decks that he isn't building, I have him in call with me. I tell him, "Is this stupid?" And he'll tell me, "Yeah, you're stupid."
Hey, who's first place now? Who's laughing now?
I think he's a better player than me, honestly.
Like, oh, wow. Okay.
I think he's a better player. He works much harder than me. I wish I could spend all day on Shadowverse like he does.
Well, certainly, we'll see. I mean, Auto Aim has a chance in Season 3 to come back, and maybe it's going to be a rivalry between the two of you, the mentor and the student, perhaps. But as we're kind of, let's kind of, I'd love to talk to you all day, because there's so many questions I have. You're obviously a very, very experienced player, and I would say the top in North America, even maybe the top in the world, just because of how much success you have under your belt. And
absolutely.
But yes, absolutely. Yeah, that describes me. But are there any last shoutouts that you want to give? The platform is yours as a champion of Wonderland Dreams here in North America. Who is it that you want to show some love to? Any shoutouts you have?
My team leader, I guess, Red, wanted a shout out for being useless. I don't know why he wants that. He's not useless at all. I think he's been very, very helpful. He gives me a pep talk before every single one of my matches, because I am not the most mentally.
You need the meditation.
Like, I don't have a very. I don't have a healthy mentality towards myself. I get pretty negative, and Red is so helpful. Of course, to Auto Aim, because he is just responsible for everything, every single success I've had on NGE. Shout out to Kuriketo SV for supporting me emotionally many times, getting me to practice even when I'm just feeling like I just don't want to play any more Shadowverse for the day. She's been fantastic.
Oh, well, there it is.
Yeah.
So many people there supporting you, and of course, I mean, that's all paid off, right? All the time that you've kind of put into learning the game and spending it, so now you're a 2-time champion. Maybe it's going to be 3-time. So, JaZe, I want to give you, and for everybody on the commentary desk, a shout out as well, and a big heartfelt thank you for competing in Shadowverse Open and taking first place again, and I hope to see you soon. And just like Akamaru Red, I hope to see you in future events and be able to meet you face to face, and maybe in Japan if you make it to the World Grand Prix. So thank you so much. All right.
Thank you for casting. You're great.
Oh no, my gosh, that's not okay. It's not about me. It's about you. So thanks so much. We're gonna move on with the broadcast. It's been a pleasure talking to you, JaZe, and I'm sure we'll get more.